I noticed there was a lot of water left in my pen after cleaning it, and I used a can of compressed air to clean it out. Why don't I hear about using compressed air in the fountain pen maintenance process? Okay, fair enough. So if you have a fountain pen and you're cleaning it out with water, you're gonna expel all the water out of your converter, but you're still gonna have a lot left in the grip of the pen. So I think what Bill is saying here is, in his longer form email, he said he like flicked it or moved it around or something and noticed that he was getting some water that was still coming out. So he used like a spray can of air, did it, and he says it shot a ton of water out. Well, yes, that's true. There is some water left in the feed here. It's really not a ton. It's about 0.1 milliliters, depending on what size of pen and whatnot, the grip design and things like that. But it's not going to be a ton of ink, but it's enough to kind of make a difference. So for me, what I always say is when you're cleaning out your pen, you're going to have water left in there. Take a paper towel and just touch the nib to the paper towel and just soak up all of that extra moisture that's going to be in there. Now, if you don't do that, it's not going to be the end of the world because ink is made a lot of water. That's the main vehicle is water. And if you are having a little bit of water in your grip section and you go to fill your pen, it's going to get a little bit diluted. So if you have a grip section that has about 0.1 milliliters of ink and your whole pen holds about 1 milliliter of ink, that's about a 10% dilution. It might be enough for you to notice. Generally though, especially if you're using a more saturated ink like Noodler's or Private Reserve, a lot of some of the diamine ones, you're actually probably not even going to notice a 10% dilution very much. Now it could affect the flow and stuff just a little bit, so I always recommend to just soak up the water out of your feed before you fill it. Then you're kind of getting the most pure form of the ink. But you really don't need to leave it drying out or anything like that. That's another kind of different question that I get asked a lot, is like, how long do I let my pen dry out before I fill it again, that kind of thing. You really don't need to. Just get the water out of it. There will be just a fraction of a drop of water left after you wick out that moisture with a paper towel, and then fill it with ink, and you're not going to make any difference. It's not going to affect your flow. It's not really going to affect anything if you don't let it completely dry out. Now that said, getting back to your original question here, Bill, if you're using a can of compressed air or something like that, you can certainly do that. It's just a different method. You're just getting the water out of your pen. Now, a can of compressed air, I'm not as crazy about, just because you've got like the various propellants and stuff that are in there. And, depending on how you're holding the can and all this kind of stuff, you could have some of that propellant that's getting out in there. I think it's like nitro something or other, but it's like a really cold kind of, it's like if you hold it upside down, you spray it and it'll like shoot out like basically ice. So if you get that going into your pen, I don't know for sure it'd be damaged. I haven't really heard anybody saying that, but it can't be great for your pen. And then also with compressed air, if you're not holding tightly onto that grip, you could shoot that thing across the room and damage your nib. So that's why I'm not as crazy about compressed air. One technique that I hear a lot of people do, not a lot maybe, but I do hear people do, is just using their mouth. So if you're, rinsing out with water and stuff, and the pen's basically clean, just taking, if I've flushed it out and everything, just take and then blow on the back of the feed, and it'll blow out everything out of there, and that will pretty much get it done. Now then you've got to worry about whatever's in your mouth getting in there. So, that's why I usually go towards a paper towel. Really, all of these things are kind of getting the same thing done. It's just the least risky one is the paper towel.